You have 400 friends in your phone right now, and it's 3 in the morning, and there's nobody you can call. Not nobody who'd answer, nobody you dare to wake. Now rewind 30,000 years into a cold little valley. A person there knows maybe 30 faces in their entire life. 30. That's the whole world. Everyone they'll ever meet. And here's the part that should genuinely bother you. That person with 30 faces never once felt lonely. You, with 400, feel it on a Tuesday for no reason. So what did they have that you somehow lost? How did ancient humans actually make a friend? Not find a date, not a partner, a friend. The plain kind. The kind that just sits next to you and says nothing. Because the answer is hiding inside your own body. And once you see it, you can't unsee what we deleted. But first, let's start with the brain that built you. A researcher named Dunbar noticed something strange. He compared the social lives of monkeys and apes for years, and he found brain size tracked the size of the group. Bigger social world demanded a bigger thinking machine. So he asked, how many people can one human really hold? His famous answer was about 150. 150 stable relationships, give or take. Now, I have to be honest with you here for a second. That number's famous, but it is heavily debated. In 2021, a team led by Patrick Lindenfors pushed back. They reran the math and got wildly different numbers. So don't cling to 150 like it's a law of physics. The exact number isn't the point that matters here. The point is your social world has a ceiling, and it's small. A real friend takes real fuel, and the tank is tiny. So how did they spend that fuel? That's the real story. And maybe you're already thinking, just talk to people. Just text more. Just be social. Friendship is words, right? Here's the twist Dunbar found. Words came second. Before language, bonding ran on something far more physical. Look at monkeys. They bond by picking through each other's fur. It's called grooming, and it is not really about cleaning. It's touch, it's Tom, it's I am choosing you right now. But grooming has a brutal limit nobody warns you about. You can only physically groom one body at a time. In a big group, you'd spend half your day just doing that. So Dunbar argued we invented a shortcut, a cheaper glue. We learned to groom each other with our voices instead. Talking let one person reach many at once. Hands couldn't. And what did that early talk actually sound like? Mostly gossip. Who shared? Who cheated? Who you can trust? Gossip wasn't petty. Gossip was the original social network. Grooming became gossip. Gossip slowly became language. So your group chat, it's a fire circle with worse lighting. But talking alone never made the bond feel real. There was a deeper trick, and it's wired into your chemistry. Let's get specific, because this is where it gets tangible. Your body makes its own painkiller, its own quiet high. Scientists call these endorphins, built-in feel-good chemicals. And here's the strange key that unlocks them with people. You release a flood of them when you move in sync with others. Dunbar's team actually tested this in a clever way. They had people row, dance, and sing together in groups. Then they measured how much pain each person could take. Because endorphins dull pain. More tolerance, more endorphins. The people who moved in sync could suddenly take much more. Doing it together, in rhythm, literally drugged them with bonding. And synced effort hit harder than just standing around chatting. So bonding wasn't a feeling you waited to arrive. It was a thing your bodies manufactured side by side. Now stop for 1 second, because I know what's happening. You're watching this alone, probably on a screen right now. And some quiet part of you is nodding a little too hard. That ache has a name, and it isn't a personal flaw. It's a body that was built to make friends by moving with them. Sitting still, alone, holding a glowing rectangle instead? So let's rebuild it. Step into one ancient day with me. You wake on cold ground, packed between sleeping bodies. You did not choose these people. You were simply born beside them. There is no leaving, no moving away, no fresh start across town. The same 30 faces every dawn for your entire life. And that sounds like a trap, but watch what it actually does. You can't swipe away the annoying ones, so you work it out. You don't bond because you matched. You bond because you must. At dawn, you all rise and walk out to gather food together. You dig roots beside someone for hours, saying almost nothing, but your hands fall into the same rhythm without trying. And there it is, the endorphins quietly stitching you together. You carry a heavy log back to camp on 2 sets of shoulders. You match your steps so the weight doesn't crush either of you. That shared strain is doing something 1,000 texts can't. By night, the whole band collapses around one fire. Someone starts a rhythm, clapping on a hollow log. And without a word, the whole circle starts moving as one. Feet stomping together, voices rising together, one pulse. This is the part no documentary ever explains to you. They aren't dancing for fun, they're dosing themselves with belonging. Every synced clap is a tiny chemical handshake to the group. By the time the fire dies, you're not 30 strangers. You're one body that happens to have 60 Rs. And nobody had to schedule it. Nobody had to be invited. The closeness wasn't planned, it was unavoidable, involuntary. And that one word, involuntary, is the whole secret. You didn't decide to bond with them, proximity decided for you. Repeated closeness day after day did the heavy lifting. And isolation back then wasn't sad, it was deadly. To be alone in that world meant the cold or the wolves gotcha. So your body still treats loneliness like a survival emergency. This isn't poetry, it shows up in cold, hard health data. A researcher named Julianne Holt-Lundstad pooled the studies. She combined dozens of them, covering huge numbers of people. Lonely, isolated people died measurably sooner, across the board. The risk sat beside the famous killers we actually fear. Your body, 400 friends in all, never got the memo. It still thinks being alone means something is about to eat you. So here's the twist that flips this whole story over. We didn't lose friendship because we got worse at it. We lost it because we got too good at being comfortable. Watch the exact moment it slips. It's almost invisible. First, we built walls, so we no longer slept in a pile. Then we built doors, so closeness became something you choose. Then machines did the digging, the hauling, the synced work. So we stopped sweating shoulder to shoulder with anyone. And finally, we put every face we know inside a screen. Now seeing a friend is a plan, a text, a maybe next week. Every single thing that forced you together, we removed. We deleted the involuntary part. On purpose. It felt like freedom. And freedom is exactly what it is. That's the cruel part. You can now go days touching no one and seeing no one. Nothing pushes you into a circle anymore. Nothing makes you stay. So friendship became a thing you have to remember to do? And a body built for involuntary closeness? Can't relax into that. That's why 400 friends can still feel like none. Because a friend was never a face you collected. A friend was a body that kept ending up next to yours. Again and again until your chemistry quietly gave up resisting. So here's the line I keep turning over in my head. Friendship was never something you found out there. It was something two bodies made by being stuck near each other. Involuntary, repeated with real effort, side by side. That's the recipe, and we quietly threw it away. But here's the warm part, and I really want you to hear it. It isn't broken, it's just sitting there, unused, waiting. You can't download the closeness, but you can rebuild it. You do something with people, not at them through a screen. You move together, you sweat together, you keep showing up. You let proximity, not preference, do the bonding again. You rebuild the circle one ordinary repeated evening at a time. Because the person from 30,000 years ago wasn't richer. They just never let themselves drift out of arm's reach. So let's go back to 3 in the morning, in your room. The phone with 400 names you'd never dare to wake. Don't think about the 400, think about one. One person you've sweated beside, sat with, kept showing up for. That's not a contact, that's the fire circle still burning. So tell me honestly down in the comments, who is the one person you'd actually call at 3 in the morning? And when did you last sit beside them doing absolutely nothing?